probably was on a horse before he could walk. His passion was for the horses, and to be fair, he was bloody good with them too.
What a race here at the last. Just got home out wide. Real Treasure, Waitoki Ahi. Then that's David. Just got home. Real Treasure's finding hard on the inside. Battling on Waitoki Ahi. It's Just Got Home and Real Treasure. Just got home. Just got home. Second three. This has been a brilliant ride. Ridden with the patience of Job by Cody Singer.
Lengths. Here's the last for Cape Canaveral, and he's over it safely. So too Rudy Vu, Lottenschlager and Logan James. They're playing for minor prizes because the shuttle is about to take off. It's Cape Canaveral for the Grand National Steeplechase, and he won it by 4.
Outstanding performance, beautifully rated by Cody Singer. Went up, and yes, you beauty, Cody Singer. You think he was happy with that? Absolutely.
It's just a pity that the falls came along with it. He rode pony club, did that sort of thing. He was always a pretty good kid. He's keen on working. Started riding track work when he was 13 for Grant Searle. Used to get up in the morning on his own, go down and work with us, do foal watch, ride breakers. The tougher the better, he liked them. And yeah, from there he just had the bug. There was no sort of holding him back from there.
Cody was quite interested in the horses. He was so used to us being up the track all the time that one day he got out of his bed early and I didn't realise, and we were around the back at the stables and he took us up to the track, and he was only 2 years old. He was a really cool kid. I had heaps of fun with him.
The big brother that always looked out for you, but gave you a hard time when you needed it. But he was always there for you, no matter what. He was really good.
Didn't get to see that much of him since he left Levin and went racing, but he was a good guy. It's everything who he was. He was, just such a good guy.
He always had the right things to say, and he rode horses well. And for a fellow of his age, he won a national, he won a Wellington, he won a Wellington chase on Brushman, he won a Waikato hurdles. Some guys ride for a long, long time and never get the opportunity to win those races. So he was a very capable young man.
He was a horse-orientated person. He was interested in all aspects of sort of the horse side of things. He rode a few on race day for us. Probably the main one was a horse called Brushman, which won the Wellington steeplechase. Brushman plugged along at the back for just about the entire race till they got to the straight the last time, and then Cody set him alight and he came flying along and ended up winning.
And Brushman still trying to respond to hard riding. These would appear to be the 4 as they're about to come onto the course proper. And Logan James already is getting up underneath of it now. Already is chasing after Logan James, who's still the leader. Climbing high, and Brushman over on the inside. Coming down towards the last now. Logan James over it by 2 to already. Brushman still plugging on valiantly and then climbing high. Logan James in front though. Richard Kelly riding for dear life. Brushman and Cody Singer trying to chase it down now. Coming home very strongly. Brushman over on the outside. Ranged up, hit the lead, and Brushman gets the Wellington chase. Wonderful victory for Cody Singer and Brushman. And Cody Singer is one of the best victory waves you will ever see. Has got the prize. Yeah,
He was knocked out for over 10 minutes, so it was a pretty serious blow, and he wasn't the same for a very long time after that.
Concussion occurs after a blow to the head, and even if you're not knocked out, you can still get a concussion. Usually, initially, you will feel fatigued, you have problems concentrating, you may be irritable, headachy, but the longer term effects can be depression, anxiety.
These kids, they get the depression following the concussions, And that was the ultimate problem, was the depression.
He wanted to make sure that what he was going through, other people understood how he came. He used to say to me, "Mum, when I get down, I want people to cheer me up, not put me down." So, you know, I wanted people to just come and say, "Come on, Cody, let's go and do this," or "Let's go and do that." And of course, had the headaches all the time. It was quite hard for him.
The medical side of things didn't really kick in till his last real bad fall, and he couldn't pass a concussion test.
When we test for concussion in the racing industry, we use the COGSTAT. So that's a computer test which tests reflexes, reaction times, that sort of thing. And then if they get a bang to the head, they have to do another COGSTAT and pass also a SCAT test. GP does the SCAT test, the stipendiary stewards do the COGSTAT. So until they get a normal COGSTAT and can do their SCAT 5 and pass, they're not allowed to return to riding. So I think we need to raise awareness. You need to think of it. If you don't think of it, you won't ask the questions. And like across the board, anyone with depression and anxiety usually doesn't put their hand up.
You know, you sit in the jockey's room with guys and you're sitting there and you're looking at them and you're thinking to yourself, you know, this fella's just not quite right today, or this young lady's not quite right today, but they've got to ride 63, so they've probably been wasting like hell, and you know, we'll just leave it. You know, maybe people just need to ask each other more, "Hey bro, are you okay? Hey girl, are you okay?" You know, and people may need to speak out more and say, "Look, no, I'm not feeling okay."
So if psychiatric help's required, then that's accessible via ACC through private. So we shouldn't have situations where people aren't getting mental health support or they're falling through the system.
Yeah, racetrack support is primarily about us providing support and care to the industry at all levels, and really for us it's about being that first port of call if people are struggling or stuck in any sort of ways, helping them to know where to go to, what to do, and also just being involved as much as we can with people.
Mental health in the racing industry, I think it's a lot more prevalent than what people realise. You know, you go from having such massive highs and adrenaline rushes to having such deep lows just in the game. You know, you can win a national one week, you can fall off a favourite in the Waikato the next.
I think in the racing industry, part of the problem is that it's a very much harden up princess, take a cement pill, you're being weak, and you know, that's not really conducive to seeking help.
As an industry that we acknowledge that this is a great game, but it's a tough game, and it is the kind of game where we kind of need each other. We do need to be looking out for each other whenever and however we can.
The game's hard enough. Like, don't think that you're being weak by reaching out for help.
We'd seen him, he came over for dinner with us and his grandparents the week before, and he was, you know, his normal, happy self. It was about 2:30 in the afternoon. I got a phone call from the police. Day you won't forget in a hurry.
Just sheer disbelief, I think, more than anything at first.
You know, Cody was one of those people that you just didn't think it would happen, but I have heard it just snaps, and something would have triggered it on the day, and they don't think clearly, because I know Cody had a conscience, and if he had stood back and thought about it, he would have gone, what am I going to do with my parents and my dogs and my horses, because he just loved everyone so much.
I'm not usually that emotional, but I felt a bit like it was the straw that broke the camel's back, and it just absolutely broke me.
He was always so happy. Just didn't expect it.
It's shaken the whole family up. And, you know, there's people out there who say, oh, you'll get over it. You don't. Because it's, I mean, you expect to lose a parent. You don't expect to lose, you know, a son. Not at that age.
Do you know, Cody didn't realise how much he was loved through this whole thing. We found out about that when we were, you know, at the funeral and everything. We just, he was so loved, and he was so loved by all of us, and he's just so missed.
Knowing what it's like for the family that's left behind, I'd hate to see anybody else's family go through the same thing, because it's not just the parents, it's not just the children left behind, it's their friends, it's their grandparents, you know, aunts, uncles, you know, they all feel it. Maybe if anybody that's listening that's struggling, give the likes of Andrew a ring. You know, it's better off ringing one person than having to look at half a dozen phone numbers and saying, who do I ring?
Look, it's really important to reach out for help, and I know that that's hard for us as human beings, and it's also just can be awkward for us to know how to reach out and just say, you know, look, I'm really, really struggling, but it's so important to do so. Once we talk about things, once we actually start to have a conversation about where we are and how we're doing, all of a sudden it doesn't feel quite as bad or quite as scary as it did. And I know it sounds a bit almost cliche, but it's amazing what can be fixed with a simple cup of coffee and a chat. Literally, sometimes the weight of what we're struggling with just comes off us.
To the young people in the industry today, guys, don't do it alone. You know, you've got so many avenues and so many people that you can talk to these days, riding mentors, bosses, other guys in the jockeys' rooms, senior riders. If you think you've got an issue and you think you could be suffering from the blues a little bit, just ask. No one's going to bag you for asking. No one's going to put you down for trying to help yourself. We're all here, we're all available to help you. So please let us know if there's any concerns.
As an industry, we need to be aware of it so that we look out for our colleagues, ask them how they're doing, and don't just tell them to harden up, princess, you know.
That's what we're here for, so you know that we're going to be available to you. We are confidential, but also we genuinely care about you guys, so we do encourage people just to reach out and talk, and 9 times out of 10 people will always say, you know what, that actually I don't know what I was so scared about. I don't know why it felt so hard to just tell somebody I wasn't doing okay. But once we actually do it, we find out not only was it okay, but it was actually quite helpful. So yeah, talk to each other as much as you can. And it's the old adage, I guess, that if you carry something by yourself, it just continues to get heavier and heavier and heavier. But the moment that you can unburden it, yeah, so talk to each other, talk to us.
Through now we've got Cody here. Well done, mate.
What a horse. He was just travelling the whole way. I let him roll down the back, try and give him a breather. Every time something come near him, he said, I'm off again, mate, I'm off again.
And can't he jump a fence?
Oh, beautiful leaper. A couple there, the fox, I know he's a big jumper. Yeah, jumped him. Keep going.
Well done, Cody.